If you've loved Chicago Fire for as long as I have, then you probably have your own theories. From the disappearance of Chief Wallace Bowden's family to the future of the show, here are all the Chicago Fire fan theories and unanswered questions. Starting with the most popular theory. Is Chief Wallace Bowden related to someone in the firehouse? Some people think he might be the father of one of the firefighters, while others believe that he might be a brother or cousin of one of the firefighters. The evidence for this theory is mainly based on Bowden's close relationship with the firefighters at Firehouse 51. He's like a father figure to many of them and is always there to offer support and guidance. Bowden seems to have a deeper understanding of the firefighters' personal lives, which could suggest a family connection, but there hasn't been any confirmation from the show that this theory's true. Although, I do hope this fun and wild theory about another character involving capes is canon. Yep, people think Mouch is secretly a superhero, and they've suggested that his role in the firehouse is just a cover for his secret identity, and that he uses his firefighting skills to fight crime on the side. There are a few pieces of evidence that support this theory. For one thing, Mouch seems to have an almost superhuman ability to remain calm and focused under pressure. He's also incredibly resourceful and always has a trick up his sleeve. Of course, this theory is entirely fan-made. Obviously, there's no indication from the show's creators that Mouch has any kind of hidden superpowers. Still, it's a fun idea to think about, and who knows? Speaking of beloved and interesting characters, here's another one I want to see on my screen again. Peter Mills. I don't know about you, but I've been missing him since he left the show in season 3, and I'm not alone. Many people have speculated about the potential return of Charlie Barnett's beloved character. Will he come back? Won't he? It's a major question on everyone's minds. Personally, I'm all for Mills coming back. I mean, the guy was so charming and had great chemistry with the rest of the cast. Plus, I'd love to see him and Stella Kid get together again. Those two were seriously so cute together. But while we wait for word on whether or not Mills will return, there are plenty of other mysteries to keep us occupied. Like, where does Herman's fearlessness come from? For all we know, he could be secretly wealthy. And while this theory might seem unlikely, some people have pointed to a few pieces of evidence suggesting some truth to it. Herman's known to be a savvy businessman, and he's always looking for new opportunities to make money. Plus, he seems to have a lot of connections in the business world. This could suggest that he comes from a wealthy family. Like, for example, what happened to the original members of Firehouse 51? They were some of the most beloved characters in the series. From the stoic Chief Wallace Bowden to the charismatic Lieutenant Kelly Severide.
Open it up, let's hit it hard!
These characters were the backbone of the firehouse and the show itself, but then something strange happened. One by one, the original members of Firehouse 51 started to disappear, leaving me scratching my head and wondering what was going on. Some fans have actually speculated that aliens abducted the original members of Firehouse 51. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. According to this theory, the aliens had been monitoring the firehouse for years, fascinated by the bravery and heroism of the firefighters. And then, one fateful night, they decided to swoop in and abduct the members of Firehouse 51, then took them to a distant planet where they could study their firefighting techniques and maybe even recruit them into an intergalactic firefighting squad. Is there any evidence to support this theory? Well, not really, but it sure is fun to think about, isn't it? Now, there's another equally ridiculous theory about how they disappeared. Apparently, they were transported to another time period through some sort of time-traveling mishap. And maybe they accidentally stepped into a wormhole or were struck by lightning while standing in a certain spot. Either way, the idea that they were sent back in time to a different era, the Wild West or the medieval times, take your pick. In fact, even the distant future seems likely. And now they're living out their days as time-traveling firefighters, battling battling blazes throughout history. This theory is admittedly far-fetched, but hey, it's much more interesting than assuming they all retired or moved away, right? Speaking of interesting, this next theory about their disappearance is straight up wild, and looks more like it should be circulating on some conspiracy thread. What if the Illuminati took them? Some fans have taken a more sinister approach to the mystery of the original members of Firehouse 51. According to this theory, the Illuminati, that shadowy group of elites who supposedly control the world from behind the scenes, are behind the disappearances of the firefighters. Maybe the members of Firehouse 51 stumbled upon some sort of Illuminati secret, and the powers that be decided to make them disappear before they could reveal anything. Or maybe the Illuminati needed some highly skilled firefighters for a secret mission, and the members of Firehouse 51 were the perfect candidates? Let's be real, we all know how good they are at their jobs. Well, most of them anyway. Is there any real evidence to support this theory? Probably not, but it's certainly an intriguing idea, adding a layer of mystery and suspense to the story. Or, I could take a tamer route and go out on a limb to say that they're all just living their lives. Okay, I know, this theory's a little less exciting than the others, but hear me out. Maybe the original members of Firehouse 51 didn't disappear in some sort of mysterious or fantastical way. Maybe they just moved on with their lives, retired, or found new opportunities elsewhere. Sure, this theory might not be as fun to think about as aliens, a time travel, or secret societies, but it's probably the most realistic. And let's be honest, sometimes the truth is a little boring. Speaking of their disappearances, one theory that's gained some traction among fans is that Chief Bowden might have some sort of connection to the missing firefighters. At first, this might sound hard to believe, but give me a minute to explain myself here. I mean, it makes sense. He's been on the show since the beginning, and he's seen more than his fair share of drama and tragedy. Maybe he knows more than he's letting on. Of course, this is all just speculation, but that's the fun of it, right? But you know what's not? Not knowing if the show's coming back for a 12th season. Are we even getting a new season? Will any major cast changes be made? What new storylines will be introduced? There's a lot to consider. Personally, I'm optimistic that the show will be renewed. I mean, it's been a rating powerhouse for NBC for years, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Plus, with all the incredible characters and storylines, there's still so much potential for the show to keep going strong. But there's good reason to believe it might not be too. I'd love to see more development for some of these supporting characters in the future. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Casey and Severide as much as the next fan, but there are so many other characters who deserve more screen time and attention. Like, for example, Cruz and Brett. Those two are absolute gems, and I'd love to see more of their personal lives and storylines. That's all the Chicago Fire fan theories and unanswered questions. See you in the next one.